Vladimir Putin will not negotiate with Ukraine. North Korean soldiers are fighting against Ukrainian soldiers for food. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is ahead of Donald Trump in Iowa. So why Vladimir Putin will not negotiate a peace settlement of the war in Ukraine, and under what conditions North Korean troops are fighting against the Ukrainian forces on the ground in Ukraine? So CNN reported about the big assessment of the foreign policy expert about the possibility of the peaceful settlement of the war in Ukraine after the US general election. The US general election will take place tomorrow, and however, we will not know about the winner of this election because the counting process of the voters will take time. So according to CNN, regardless of who will win the US general election, Vladimir Putin will not settle this war. Vladimir Putin is not ready to negotiate in good faith despite the fact who will win this general election, Donald Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris. And foreign policy experts suggest that this is not about Ukraine, this is about the confrontation against the West. Vladimir Putin would not like to end this war. He would not like to see Ukraine having a peaceful settlement of this war, but he would like to conquer the whole of the country. That's why he would not agree to any peace proposal, even from Donald Trump and his inner circle. According to CNN, Vladimir Putin would not like to settle this war even with Donald Trump. Also, we have heard some interesting statements from Moscow, from Kremlin, and Dmitry Medvedev, a member of Putin's inner circle, threatened an assassination for Donald Trump in case if Donald Trump tries to settle this war, to organize a peaceful settlement of this war. Also, we have heard new statements from Kremlin and from Kremlin's inner circle, which suggests that Russia will not participate in any kind of a peaceful settlement, in a peace plan, unless all Russian conditions are met, unless Ukraine capitulates to Russia, unless Trump accepts all Putin's proposals. So Vladimir Putin will not ready to negotiate even if Trump is elected as the US president, because it's a big confrontation, and this war against Ukraine is something more rather than only negotiating a peace settlement, because Russian dictator Vladimir Putin does not want Ukraine to exist as a sovereign state. That's why he will not like to see Ukraine's prosperity and Ukraine's ability to rebuild itself, to live in a peace without the war. Also, some foreign policy experts suggest that Donald Trump will understand that he is not capable of negotiating with Putin. After some phone calls with Vladimir Putin, he could understand that Vladimir Putin is not likely, he will not like to settle this war on normal terms. However, President Zelensky is ready to end this war in Ukraine on normal terms. He has presented a victory plan and has suggested that Ukraine can negotiate with Russia in a good faith, but Russia can do that in a good faith. Ukraine is ready to end the war after Russia's withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine, after compensating Ukraine war damages, and after withdrawing its forces from all occupied territories, including Crimea. Also, President Zelensky suggested that the West could force Putin to negotiate by putting more pressure on Russia and by allowing Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia with Western-made weapons. However, we haven't heard and haven't seen yet any kind of support from the West of President Zelensky's victory plan. Moreover, President Biden has not yet responded to the North Korean deployment of troops to Russia and Ukraine. That's why all politicians and leaders are waiting to the result of the US general election. Meanwhile, the South Korean media reports that Russia's war effort would be supported by the North Korean troops. North Koreans will fight against Ukrainians for food. So North Korean soldiers were fight against Ukrainian forces for food, for rice, from 600,000 to 700,000 tons of rice would be supplied to the North Korea by Russia, and that is the price of the North Korean deployment to Ukraine. Also, Russia will help North Korea to launch its military satellite to the space. Also, Russia would be ready to deploy its own troops, its own Russian troops, to the North Korea in case of a major war on Korean Peninsula. And this is a part of the big defense pact between Moscow and Pyongyang. And that's why it's really big escalation, but we haven't seen any kind of a response from Biden administration. The US should act unless it's ready to unless it's ready to face another war or on Korean Peninsula. We have heard only one major statement from the US official about this escalation. Head of the House Intelligence Committee, Mike Turner, earlier said that the US should respond by considering direct military actions against North Korean troops in Ukraine. However, Biden administration still hesitates to act because of the US general election. Let's cover also the US general election and US internal politics. Kamala Harris unacceptably is ahead of Donald Trump in Iowa, according to the recent polls. So Iowa has been considered as a Republican state because Donald Trump won Iowa in 2016 and 2020 earlier. However, Kamala Harris leads over Trump by 3% in Iowa, according to the recent poll conducted there, and this is a big major turning point, and it is a big surprise for both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Donald Trump's team has already said that this is fake news. However, this opinion poll has been conducted by leading opinion poll agency in Iowa, so it looks like this has some credibility. That's why Kamala Harris is ahead of Trump in Iowa. However, we will not know the results of this election until the Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday, because both candidates, according to Reuters, have the same results, the same support in the 7 swing states. That's why we will have to wait several days before all votes are counted and before we have a credible projective. So this US general election and credible results of this in the meanwhile. Also, Focal Data, another opinion poll agency of the United Kingdom, predicts that Kamala Harris will beat Trump on the US general election. This company has conducted a big major opinion poll and has spoken with more than 30,000 voters around the United States, and according to these results, Kamala Harris has a fair chance to beat Trump on the US general election. And let's cover also the possibility of another Donald Trump's lie about the fake news on the election date. According to Reuters, Kamala Harris' team is getting ready and is preparing for the possibility of Donald Trump declaring a victory on the election day, even before all votes are counted. So according to Reuters, Kamala Harris' team is ready to the possibility that Donald Trump can declare himself as a winner of this election on the election day and can spread false disinformation and false information on the election day, despite the fact that it could take much longer time, more days for all votes to be counted. That's why he could take more time to do that. But Kamala Harris' team is getting ready and is preparing to tackle this disinformation and another portion of lies from Donald Trump. But stay with us on YouTube and we will analyze the recent news and analyze the results of the US general election and how both candidates managed to do that and to win this election despite the fact that lots of disinformation are being spread around the United States. So that's all for today. Stay with us on YouTube, and glory to Ukraine.